All right, today we're going to continue our adventure of solving multiple step equations. Today's lesson, lesson 3, is going to focus on what do we do when we have variables on both sides of that equal sign. So you can see right here, example 1, we start off with 2a on the left side and 3a on the right side. So we need to get those two terms together, but we're not going to combine them together and just say we have 5a, okay? That is not what this means. So we're going to use what's called the inverse operation, and we are going to get the variables together using inverse operation. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. I want to get, I'm going to move the 2a to the other side. So to zero out this 2a, I would subtract 2a because since there's nothing in front of it, I think of that as a positive 2a, and that's going to be 0. 2a minus 2a is 0. To keep our equation balanced, we're going to write the same thing on the other side. So 2a minus 2a on both sides leaves us with 3, and 3a minus 2a is just 1a. But do I have to write the 1? No. So, looks like we're done. We found the value of a. All right, now I've slid over to the problem right next to that. This time I notice that I not only have variables on both sides of the equation, I also have a constant on both sides of the equation. So that tells me we're probably going to do just more than one step. So this one's a little bit more difficult. So first thing I want to do though is that step 1, put the variables on the same side. So I'm going to worry about the variables first. I have two options here. I can move the 3v, I can subtract 3v from, so I subtracted 3v from both sides, bring down this minus sign as a negative 8, 7 plus 5v. Now I have a two-step equation because I have two things on the side with the variable. So I always add or subtract first. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. 7 minus 7 is 0, and negative 8 minus is negative 15. Bring down the 5v. Now I'm down to just one last step. So I notice here that it says 5v. So I'm going to divide by 5. I'm running out of room. Negative 15 divided by 5 would be negative 3 equals v. And don't forget that we can check our solution by substituting it into our original equation. So if I plug in a negative 3, every time I see a v, we can do a real quick check to make sure negative 3 is our true solution. So here I have negative 9 minus 8 is negative 17 on the left side. On the right side I have 7 plus a negative 24, which is also negative 17. So hooray! Negative 3 is in fact our solution to our equation. All right, now over here, next question. I just want to do this one because something happens that we need to talk about. So this one, you see I have 1g on both sides. Whenever you have a variable that's lonely like that, you can always put a 1 in front of it so you have that coefficient to work with. So I see that I have 1g on both sides. So when I go to put them on the same side, I subtract 1g, I subtract 1g. Well, that zeroes them out on both sides. So when I bring down everything else in my problem, that's not true. 7 does not equal -3. So in this situation, when this ever happens and you get something that's not true, then it is no solution. There's nothing I could substitute into that equation for it to come out correct. So that might happen from time to time. Now on these bottom two example 2 questions, we're going to step it up a notch because now we have multiple steps to solve and we have a variable on both sides. So we're going to practice our combining like terms and then solve the equation. So I have 2c and I have a minus 2c on the left side of the equation. So I'm going to combine those together. And that would equal 2 minus 3 would be a -1c. And then I still have that plus 4. Okay, lining up my equal signs. Now to the other side, I have 2 constants. I have a -3, and then if I circle that plus sign in front, that's a +5. So when I combine my 2 constant terms together, I end up with a +2, and then I also have my plus c. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to get the variables together. Okay, so variables to same side. All right, so I could subtract 1c over here, but then I'd end up with -2 on this side. So I'm going to opt to add 1c and add 1c to the both sides there. So -1 plus 1 is 0. So that leaves me with the 4 equals 2. And then 1c plus 1c is 2c. Now I have a 2-step equation. So next step, I am going to subtract 2. So -2, -2, 2 minus 2 is 0, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down our 2c. Now my last step is going to be to divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, leaving me with just a lonely c. And divide 2 by 2, and I get 1. Don't forget to check your solution. Let's see, 2 times 1 plus 4 minus 3 times 1. So that would be 2 plus 4 is 6, minus 3 equals 3. The other side of the equation, -3 plus 1 plus 5, that would be -2, and then plus 3, or 5 is 3. All right, so that all checks out. So 1 equals c. That is what we call our solution. All right, we have one more example I want to show you. The only thing different about this one from the previous one is this distributive property. So we are going to have to distribute before we do anything else. Okay, we have to get rid of those parentheses. So 4 times x and 4 times 5. So we would have 4x minus 20 plus 2 equals x plus 3. Next, we're going to do pretty much the same steps we did off there to the left. So next I'm going to combine any like terms that we have. So I have like terms right here. Neither of those have a variable. So I'm going to combine those together and get -18. Bring everything else down. Notice how my equal signs are nicely lined up. Sometimes. Okay, here we go. Bring down that x plus 3. Now I'm going to get my variables together. So this is a 1x, so I'm going to take away 1x, take away 1x, 3x minus 18 equals, that's 0, so it leaves me with 3. Now I'm going to add to both sides, because that will zero out the 18. So negative 18 plus 18 is 0, leaving me with 3x. So we're getting closer. 18 plus 3, 21, which is good, because that's divisible by 3, and we are about to divide. The opposite of multiplying is to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, leaving us with x. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So 7 is our solution. So I need you to check that, make sure that I'm correct. There should be 3 problems left unsolved on this notes page. So I'd like you to try those right now, and then you'll get full credit on your notes tomorrow. Good luck!